What's going on, guys? Johnny on the track, back with another video. We got Vegas this weekend. Should be a great race. This was, to me, top three races of last year. I was at this exact race last year. So much fun, great atmosphere. The racing was great. One of really the first times we get to see the next gen car shine in action. I'm confident about this race. I feel like what I've seen so far this year, what we can use from the Vegas race last year, being at the race in person, seeing it, seeing, who, like the cars that really looked good. And I just I feel confident. So that's a good thing. I think that's a good sign. Real quick, great weekend last week with Kyle Busch winning for us. Big bet plus 1,000. Felt good to hit that bet. I knew he was knocking on the door. I knew Kyle Busch was knocking on the door, and it felt good for him to get us that win plus 1,000. We also hit on the Austin Dillon top 10, which was the listed top 10 of the bet. As always, if you're looking for my bets in general, post qualifying, post practice, Johnny on the track on Action Network. You can follow all my bets closely because I only give as much as I can here on this program. And then obviously, like I said, if I want to put more on a driver, if I find an additional driver that I think, we should be targeting, that's where you can find that on Action Network, Johnny on the track. So, all right, let's get into it. Without further ado, don't want to waste anybody's time. All right, so I want to start actually this week with the top fives and top 10. So we're going to go to the bottom of the board. I have the odds for the winners. I don't see them right now listed on anything really for top fives and top tens. Can't find it on Action Network. Can't find it on Rhode Island Sportsbook, which is what I use, and then the odds that I get for this program being DraftKings Sportsbook. Couldn't find any of that stuff. So I'm just going to put these out here. Hopefully we can get them at good odds. I think we'll be able to, just based on what I see from their outright winning odds. So let's start with my top 10 for the week. It's Ty Gibbs. I feel like Ty Gibbs is going to have a really, really good, solid race. Maybe you put a little something small on him to get a top five. But I feel like this is the race where we kind of really see the glimpse of potential, right, of what Ty Gibbs can be in this series. Toyota was super, super fast here at this race last year. Bell was the fastest car in qualifying, looked like the fastest car in the first stretch of that race. Truex and Kyle Busch turned it on at the end of that race. Then you go to the playoff Vegas race. Christopher Bell was one of the fastest cars. So I just really, really like Toyota here. Then Bubba Wallace was another guy later in the playoff race at Vegas, was very fast. So Toyotas I like here this weekend. So Ty Gibbs top 10. I think that should be something that you look for. Maybe you sprinkle a little something small in the top five. I don't know. I think we're going to get a good look at this in practice and qualifying. Hopefully that doesn't get rained out and we can actually see what this is going to look like. But Ty Gibbs, I think he's a sneaky bet this week. I don't think a lot of people will be high on him. Two top fives. We got the first being Ross Chastain. I have to stick by my gut here. And my gut originally was that I didn't see Ross Chastain making the playoffs. I think at this point, my mind is sort of being changed from what I saw last week. But with that, I don't know. I still haven't seen Ross Chastain put it all together at one of these style tracks. Yes, he was good at Auto Club. Yes, he was good at Vegas here last year and plenty other mile and a halves. But again, from what I've said to why I picked him to not make the playoffs this year, I've said the same thing about Ross Chastain. He won 2 races last year. And yes, he was super fast, top 5 in overall speed in mile and a halves and the bigger tracks. But the only 2 races he won were a road course and a super speedway. So I haven't seen him put a full race together where he is dominant from start to finish and wins the race. He was dominant from start to end of stage 2, middle of stage 3, but then Kyle Busch came on late and beat him. And that's what happened a lot last year. So I like Ross Chastain to bring a fast car. I think it's not a fluke. Trackhouse is not a fluke. They are going to be a good team. They're going to bring really good, solid, fast cars to these style tracks. We saw it last week. We're going to see it again this week. But again, I need to see Ross Chastain put it all together. I haven't done that yet. So I like him for a top 5. I do not like him for the win. And then William Byron, top 5. Plain and simple, I had this bet here last year. I won this bet. I had the ticket. I went to go return said bet, or I should say cash said bet, and I lost the ticket. So look, I'm just placing this bet because I want to win it. I will win it. We are going to win this bet. If you look at the numbers, you look at last week, William Byron had a really good car. He came from the back multiple times. He came from the back and put himself in position for a top 10. Late in the race, had a slip up on pit road. Didn't get the result he deserved, but he was good at both Vegas races last year. I think the playoff Vegas race wasn't the result they were looking for. I think they finished 11th. But throughout the duration of that race, he was solid. Same thing with the first Vegas race. I watched him be solid, run right around top 5. So I think William Byron has a strong week. He tends to start off hot in the season. Hasn't really done that, but I think he puts it all together and has a good solid run. So top 5's Chastain and Byron, and the top 10 is Ty Gibbs. Let's now get into our winners. I'm going to start with the guy I like the most, and that is Kyle Busch. I just feel like is going to have one of those seasons, a Kyle Larson-esque season. That's what I'm feeling. I said this from the beginning that you need to keep your eyes on Kyle Busch throughout this season. He is motivated as ever, and now he has confidence. And that is a dangerous thing to give Kyle Busch a whole lot of confidence. Just won at Auto Club. Now he's going to his hometown on a brand new team in front of that packed Vegas crowd. I feel like he's still out to prove that this isn't a fluke. And I still think there are some doubters on him to say, okay, sure, he won early, but is he still Kyle Busch, the guy that wins 5, 6, 7 races a season, or is he just the guy that wins one race and kind of just, dances around the playoffs, maybe makes it to the round of 12, maybe to the round of 8, but really isn't a championship contender anymore. I still think he hears that chatter and wants to prove those people wrong. This is his playground. I love this bet. You get it plus 600. I don't love that number. So what I would recommend doing is maybe you put a little something on the plus 600, and then hopefully he doesn't qualify well. We can get him closer to 800, and then we can pound that number because I love, love, love Kyle Busch this weekend in his hometown at Vegas. So that's the first bet. Second bet I'm going to go with is Kyle Larson. Has a good history on this track, has looked good so far this season, but just bad luck. And if you look at the last segment of Auto Club, he was one of the fastest cars. I just feel like, bad luck doesn't last forever. Sometimes lasts for a long time, that's for sure. I mean, look at Kyle Busch all last season. I mean, he had a lot of bad luck. Truex, same way, had a lot of bad luck. But I don't think this bad luck is going to last for Kyle Larson for much longer. He's looked good. He was top 5 in overall speed in both of the Vegas races last year. So don't be dumb. Target Kyle Larson for this race. So the two Kyles right now are the guys that I'm looking at. Third bet, Martin Truex to win plus 1,200. Love that number. I actually have 5 winners this week, and I have that because usually I do 4 and maybe like a huge underdog. But I have kind of 5 studs, and I have them this week because I like the odds on these next 3. So Martin Truex Jr. to win plus 1,200. he's been fast everywhere we've went this year. Same thing last year, fast everywhere, including the 1.5 mile tracks. If you remember the end of this particular race, he was battling it out with Kyle Busch. I thought that watching that battle, I thought that one of those guys was going to win. Late race restart and caution, I think from Eric Jones spinning out. Bowman takes two tires. Larson takes two tires. They end up starting on the front row. Busch and Truex, I think, are right behind them, and they just couldn't catch them. So tires, we thought they would be a bigger factor last year. They weren't that big of a factor last year. So I think some crew chiefs and aggressive styles might play a role in this race. And I think James Smalls and Martin Truex Jr. Can learn from a lot of the mistakes last year. They blew this race really not taking two tires. They blew the New Hampshire race with bad calls in that race. So I think I like Truex. I think he's going to have a fast car. I think he's going to remember losing this race because really that's kind of what happened. He and Kyle Busch, they lost this race. So I think Martin Truex Jr. definitely a guy you want to target. And like I said, maybe if that final caution doesn't come out, you would have been looking at a different winner for Vegas last year. Fourth bet, Ryan Blaney to win plus 1,200. He was really, really fast at both the Vegas races last season. Man, I've liked Blaney so far this season. It's weird. He's another guy where you just have that feeling like he's knocking on the door. He continues to knock on the door. He had a really fast car early at Auto Club, had an issue, got involved in a wreck, and then kind of that took really all his chances of winning down the drain. But I've seen a lot from Blaney that I like this season. I like the speed of the car. I think, again, he's right there. He's right there. And that was the Kyle Busch feeling I had. Like Kyle was right there. You just needed that one race win for everything to go right. No mistakes, no bad luck. And then I feel like the dam will be broken. That's what I feel like is going to happen to Kyle Busch. And I think as soon as Blaney gets that win that he's been waiting for a while now, it's going to stack. And you're going to see him maybe get 2-3 more wins as soon as that comes. So I like Blaney at plus 1,200. And like I said last year, two really fast cars at both the playoff race and the race in the spring. Finally, Christopher Bell plus 1,200. He was the fastest car overall when you take Vegas 1 and Vegas 2. He was the fastest car. He won the pole for the first Vegas race. He led a ton of laps in that race, blew a tire early that kind of cost him potential to win, but still had a really fast car. Vegas 2, same thing, had an issue, but was super, super fast at this track. I really, really, really like Bell here at plus 1,200. I think that's a great number to get him at. And then, sorry, I forgot if I put, so Truex was plus 1,200, Blaney plus 1,200, and Bell plus 1,200. I love the odds for those three drivers. I think there's so much value, especially with Bell, who really just brought some rocket ships to this track. Wouldn't be surprised if you look at a poll bet. If you're looking at a poll bet, Bell and Blaney, those are the two guys that I think you want. If you're doing poll bets, place them on Blaney and Bell. I think those are one of those guys will win this poll. So those are the bets we have this weekend. Let me go through it again. Kyle Busch to win plus 600. Kyle Larson to win plus 700. Truex, Blaney, and Bell to win all at plus 1,200. Your two top fives, Ross Chastain and William Byron, and your top 10 is going to be Ty Gibbs. I think this is going to be, like I said, an amazing race. Vegas, even with the last gen car, when the racing on this style track wasn't great, Vegas still always delivered a show. It's going to deliver a show this weekend. I'm excited, and I'm super confident that we're going to hit a winner. We're going to hit one, if not both those top fives, and I think we're going to hit a top 10. I think we're going to have a great, great weekend. Let's do it. I mean, because this is my favorite track on the series besides like the super speedways. And in terms of like 1.5 miles and short tracks, I'll take Vegas over any of these tracks. If you've never been to Vegas, in like to watch the race and just to go, I would definitely recommend getting out there. Super fun place, great track, great atmosphere. Yeah. So that's kind of all I got. As always, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you're looking for last minute bets or any of my bets, you're going to follow Johnny on the Track on Action Network. Also, I'm posting all my bets on Twitter at JOTT_podcast. If you're a first time listener and watcher, definitely subscribe for more content. Give us a like. And as always, want to hear your thoughts in the comments of who you're targeting this weekend. But anywho, thanks for watching.